We have arrived. This is Route 941, brought to you by the world's greatest shoe store, Greenlee Shoe.
This is Dennis. Glad you're riding shotgun with me as we travel our region to find the best in local country music. Well, tonight on Route 941 on Country 94, I am speaking with a gentleman that I know you've heard his name over the years. He's definitely one of the hardest working musicians that I know of in Atlantic Canada. He's constantly reinventing himself, and I have him with me here tonight. Say hello to my good friend, Rik Reese. Rick, welcome to Route 941.
Dennis, good to be here. Good to hear from you. How you been?
I'm doing good, man. It's been a little bit since we've actually talked in person.
Yeah, it's nice to reconnect. Here we are live and in person.
Now, Rick, with the number of shows, stages, cover songs, original songs, broken strings, and everything that you've done over the years, is it still fun for you?
Oh, thanks, man. You know something? It is fun. I mean, I'll use this one as an example. I remember playing a show in Alberta where we finished the festival. We played in front of 28,000 people, drove to the airport, got home, landed in New Brunswick on the red eye, jumped in the van the next morning, head to the gig, and got set up. There was 28 people. Yeah, you know, I mean, walking to the music business. But we had as much fun with 28,000 as we did with 28. It was just a different kind of fun, right? It was a big rush with the 28,000, and it was a nice, quiet, intimate one-on-one with the 28, and you got to know them all by first name by the time the show was over.
I can almost hear our listeners saying right now, "Whoa!" Almost as if that's a failure. But I know exactly what you're talking about. It's a different kind of a show. You can be more personal.
Exactly. And you know something? I took this out of the Matt Minglewood page when I did a show with him. He says, if I play a concert of 5,000 people and if I play a concert of 50 people, I'll sell more CDs at the 50-person show because everybody's one-on-one. They want to come up and get an autograph and talk to you.
So never discredit the small shows, right?
That's it.
I've seen you perform from a couple of different viewpoints. I've seen you perform from the crowd, and I know that you've put every bit of energy that you have into that show for that night.
Well, the thing is, it's almost done for selfish reasons. I mean, I want to have fun. You know, I'm doing it for the crowd, but I'm really doing it for myself as well. I want to have fun. The guys on the stage that I play with want to have fun. I can look back at the time, you jumped in and did a couple shows with me. When I look over and see the big grin that you had on your face and you're just like rocking, how can I not have fun with guys like that on stage? Now, we're having fun, and that translates into the crowd. It goes back and forth, right?
Rick, that is so true.
We as artists get on stage and we say, geez, I hope the crowd's going to like us tonight. But 95% of people is going to like you. That's why they're there.
They're there to have a good time. Now, what is it about a show that makes it fun for you still?
What makes it fun is a familiar venue, places that you've been to before, like going to a festival like Cavendish and seeing the familiar faces, and sometimes you remember the names, and when you kind of go up to these people and call them by their first name, they've got a big smile on the face, and it's like a homecoming. So those types of shows are pretty cool, pretty fun.
You really do have that connection with people that you've seen at your shows over time.
It's just that personal connection.
And that's so important. We know that a professional musician is able to pay the bills and live life, but there's not a lot of money in it. What made you get into music?
I grew up in Campbellton. I'm born in Campbellton. In Campbellton, you either played hockey or you played music, and I was horrible at sports.
Me too.
So music was kind of always that thing for me. A lot of my friends played. A lot of people I looked up to played. It was just kind of that side of the family. We're all horrible at sports, and we're all kind of
pretty good at
decent at music. So we better go that route.
I'm glad you did, and that you stayed the course for it. How did you actually get into songwriting?
What really got me into some serious writing was when I was playing with the earlier version of Neon Highway about 10 years ago. There was a magazine you may recall around the province called Here Magazine.
I do.
And a fellow that I knew was editor for the magazine, and he says, we are holding a contest. And he says, do you have any original material? I said, I do. He said, do you have anything recorded? I said, I do, but not recorded well. And he says, we're having a contest, and then the last 5 or 6 submissions will do a Battle of the Band thing. And the winner of the Battle of the Band will get to open for Tim McGraw and Faith Hill at the Magnetic Hill concert here in Moncton. And another artist that was on the bill was Steve Whalen.
I love Steve.
Yeah, I was a fan of Steve Whalen from the first day I moved to Moncton. And now I'm like, playing on the same stage and competing with this guy. So I'm like, this is full circle. I love Steve Whalen. So I recorded a song to submit to the contest. Steve Whalen won first surprise, he opened for Tim and Faze on the Hill. It was towards the end. It was fan base, and Steve had a great fan base. Heck, I voted for Steve myself. So back to the recording. I had 2 original songs recorded. The contest was over, and now I said to myself, well, I have 2. Well, I might as well finish an album. It was something to either give to the grandkids or use as coffee cup coaster.
That's right.
Finish the album, and then things went, one thing led to another, and then you get a little bit of radio play. Then you get your first opening act, and the first opening act we did was for the Kentucky Headhunters.
Love those guys.
Yeah, who didn't play Dumas Walker in their country cover band in the 90s? And then, one thing led to another, and then here we are talking about it. Yeah.
Who are some of the big country artists that really kind of did it for you?
Oh, that's an easy question. Then I heard a guy by the name of Steve Earle, and then I discovered Dwight Yoakam, and it really opened things up for me because Steve Earle it wasn't my mother's type of country, which I love. I love the Merle Haggards, I love the Waylon Jennings, but Steve Earle had something different. And then your Dwight Yoakams, and that was my gateway to kind of push me into the country music as a full-time musician.
For sure.
Those were my guys. Yeah, for sure.
Now, Steve Earle in particular, he had all of the, the original Rebel swagger for sure. But the thing that set him apart from a lot of the guys was that Steve was a brilliant writer.
Exactly. I mean, that first album of his, Guitar Town,
I've worn it out.
Oh, absolutely. And the song Guitar Town, and I first heard my mom playing that tune. I think every song's in G, or if not, every song's in D. There's nothing complicated about it, but it's just so good. It's just so good.
Yeah, it has a magic about it. I mean, there's something special about a song that sounds so good, like Guitar Town, with a full band. But that same song, you take it with one guitar, one voice, and it's still got the same integrity and the same power. That's magic writing.
That's it. That's right. I mean, who hasn't played Copperhead Road? And you could, to your point, you could play Copperhead Road as a solo guy, and the crowd's gonna sing along.
You've been recognized by all kinds of people in the industry, like played Cavendish Beach numerous times, so many times that I think that that you're on salary there.
I was a trivia question at the last festival.
Is that so?
I was a trivia question, so that's either telling you you've been there too long, or you're moving into veteran category. I was a trivia question on the big screen.
Do any of the songs really kind of get a little bit tired to you? Does that whole process get a little bit boring sometimes?
They don't, because the audience likes them.
Right, and the audience is different each and every night.
If someone comes up to me tomorrow night and asks for Wagon Wheel, and they're like so excited to hear it, I'm going to play it because that's what they want to hear. And then they hit the dance floor, you've done it for them. So, yeah, you can't say any song's boring. I mean, we'd rather play maybe something different.
But that, again, goes back to that connection with the people that are listening. If they're asking you to play a song that they truly enjoy, they're into your show.
Yeah, and I had one lady in Bathurst saying, can you play it for me? And we did. And she said, at the end of the night, she says, I just love your version. And I didn't think it was anything different than what's on the recording, but she said, I just love your version. And maybe because we broke it down and got the audience to sing, and they're all clapping and participating, and that created a moment for her.
And that's what it's all about, man. It really is. With the vaccines that are being rolled out, we're going to see green soon. What is Rik Reese up to right now?
In January and February, I got to the workshop, and I thought, we were doing a few shows, and it was light, and crowds were restricted, and those who were allowed to come out weren't allowed to leave their seat. There was no dancing. You had to go right in, sit down and not move, sit on your hands. So I thought, well, what would I like to see if I was sitting in the crowd? I would like to hear live music, but I don't think I could watch the same person. So I thought, well, I need to give the audience something visually. So I started working on just different stage props, adding to the show, adding lasers, adding smoke, adding just all kinds of stuff. And so now they have something visually to watch, and they enjoy their drink, and they forget the fact that they're seatbelted to their seat and they can't move.
You never pull any punches. Tell me about your current project, Gypsy Reese, Rik Reese, and Ron Parent. He can sing.
Ron is from Dalhousie. I'm originally from Camelton. He's a few years older than I am, so he was playing music when he was like 16 to 18 years old in local clubs. And I remember going to see some of his bands when he was playing around Camelton and whatnot. So I've known Ron forever. Then he left, played across Canada. When he recently moved back to New Brunswick, and he spoke to his cousin, which is Alex Madsen of the Divorcees.
Yeah, excellent.
Alex said to him, if you're looking to play music and you want to be busy, contact Rik Reese.
Yeah, he's right there. You are a pretty busy fellow for sure.
Yeah, Ron contacted me, and I was playing an open mic jam, if you will, and other musicians are bringing their instruments. So bring yours, come on and play some bass with me. So he did, and things were clicking, and it just kind of worked. So yeah, we've been doing the two-man thing for 4 years now.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that long. That's wild.
Yeah, we're 4 years now, so
Time sure flies.
it does. So, it's the Gypsy Reese name keeps things separate from, the Rik Reese band, keeps things clear for people. When they hear Gypsy Reese, they know it's going to be two. And when it's a Rik Reese band, they know it's going to be, 4 or more. So, when we play the festivals and whatnot, it's by, we do it by band. And, but mind you, we've done some festivals with the two-man show as well, so.
Any plans for new songs from Rik Reese down the road?
Yeah, I've got a ton of stuff written, and it's really kind of almost, I'm going to say, unfair to the people who have bought the Mama Raised a Good Boy CD. So we're going to do some single stuff, maybe some Spotify and iTunes. And it's way overdue. Yes, it's way overdue. And it always seems like when things kind of get the feet on the ground and this is going to be the new lineup and we're ready to launch something happens. Whether, it's a band member moves on, it's a name change, it's just, the background, right? So
I do.
Band members have moved on for different reasons and whatnot.
Or you've even lost a band member like your bass player, Pete King.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for mentioning that. Yeah. So, which will be 10 years this July.
Oh, that's amazing.
You know the story, and if the listeners don't, it was the time we were opening for Toby Keith at Cavendish, and he was coming back from the festival on his motorcycle, and unfortunately he hit a moose. So, but that was his big goal, to play that Cavendish main stage.
Sure.
He did it, man. Yeah,
he did it for sure.
And if anybody goes to Cavendish, you're facing the stage, and you look on the stone. There's the stage is sitting on concrete blocks. That stone on the right hand side, they've memorialized Pete, and Cavendish people have engraved, in the memory of Pete King, his last performance at Cavendish, and it's in stone on that stage. So that's forever going to be there. And that's Pete never wanted to be rich, but he wanted to be known for his music. So there it is.
It's no wonder that so many people loved him and respected him because he was a monster musician. He was great.
Oh, monster musician, and no pun intended, but Pete King, the king of one-liners, like just had you in stitches, the whole night. Just what a guy. Yeah.
And see, this is what music is all about. Music introduces you to the next members of your family.
That's right.
You get to spend time with people that are like-minded. You build memories together. That's what music and music families are all about.
That's it, buddy. Music heals, music connects.
Rik Reese, thank you so much for chatting with me tonight here on Route 941 on Country 94.
What an absolute pleasure, Dennis. Appreciate it.
From his 2008 album, Mama Raised a Good Boy, this is Rik Reese and Neon Highway, Ain't Looking for Me on Country 94.
Now she don't need my money. She won't drive my car. She said, I love you, baby, but it'll only ever go that far. When she puts on her makeup, when she puts on her jeans, everyone stops to look, but
Thanks for riding with me as we check our region to find the best in local original country music. Come back again next week and I'll feature another artist. Route 941 is brought to you by the world's greatest shoe store, Greenlee Shoe and Country 94.